Hello everybody, good evening. It's Fiona Hooper here with another edition of The Poetry of Painting. Can't believe I'm saying that again. It's just been so wonderful doing all these shows and hearing the beautiful poetry from my stable of poets, and made so many friends along the way, which is brilliant. So welcome everybody that's watching, whether you're watching live or on replay. Please, as normal, feel free to make some comments and ask questions, and we'll do our best to answer any questions you've got while we're on the call. And if not, we'll try and answer questions afterwards when we check it for comments later on. So my guests this week, two of them, which is brilliant, it's going to be a little bit different, is Martin Goldie and Ritesh Nigam. So without any more ado, let me just bring them both back onto the screen here. Martin and Ritesh, good evening, guys. How are you?
Hi, Fiona. I'm good, thank you.
I'm
Nice
good,
to be back
Fiona.
on.
Good to be back on. Martin, how are you?
I'm great, Ritesh. Nice to speak to you for the first time.
Well, it's lovely to have you both on. Thank you so much for doing this. I think it just add a different dimension to the show this week, which is lovely. And again, we'll have two poems about a painting, which is going to be, really fascinating again, just to see, especially because one of them won't be done by me as I painted the painting. It'll be done by two separate people who are just looking at it completely unaffected by what I thought when I created it or anything like that. So that's going to be really interesting for me. And Chris says, hi Fiona, hi boys, nice to be with you, looking forward to this.
Hi, Chris.
That's good. So this evening we are talking about painting which is up on my right here. It's called Tuscan Farmhouse and it's 16 inches square, and it's a mixed media painting. So I'll tell you all a little bit more about that after we've done the poetry side of things and had the pleasure of hearing two amazing poems, because I know they will be. So are you all set to read your poems, guys? Is
Yes,
that okay?
indeed.
So Martin, would you like to go first?
No bother, thank you, Fiona. Tuscan Farmhouse. History roars from that crumbling Tuscan farmhouse, nestled in an ancient grove of gnarled and twisted olive branches. Those hugging limbs froze in flaky sundance shade its thick stone walls, shielding heat and hearth of that aged home from noon's baking sun. In that mottled yard, spring-born swifts, flown from nests of earth, clung to that farm's red clay roof. In sun, tireless flit. In moonlight's glow, night owls' quiet hunt for silent vole. And there, generations of children safely played and cried, and grew and raised and died. In chill winds blown from Monte Tabura's purple dusted snow-draped slopes, some will hear whispered voices speak of those who came before, hear tales of them who in their time marked that Tuscan soil, actors in that farm's lasting story, names long gone, existence now forgotten, and in that farm's dusty acres, no space is ever wasted, from welcoming threshold of stout, weathered green-painted oaken door, ploughed strips of blonde Tuscan soil shimmer and stretch beyond gold wheat fields and fragrant dancing lilac lavender, far to distant hazy blue horizon. And when that furrowed soil is dry from drought, and from that blue azure sky wind blows hot, rising from that sandy strip, like a small tornado, ancient earth spirals high to hazy blue, merged with rumbling white-hot cloud. And for a moment in that Tuscan heat, that rich earth dances free in blue space, but failed by breeze, the moment lost it plummets back to earth, to lie again lost in furrowed field, where strong men sore and brown and parched work those rigs. Their craft and practice mirror toil of men before them. For man in field and child at play in groves today are mere custodians of that sustaining soil, from that rich Tuscan past unchanged, today and to the future, history, as it always does, roars on. Thank you.
Brilliant, amazing. That are just the imagery and the history and the story that you've wound into that is just amazing. Thank you so much, Martin. Love that. So Ritesh, I'm guessing yours is another link poem, which is your speciality.
Yeah, I have to say, Martin is such a vivid imagery. And in fact, when I was looking at the farmhouse, I did see that, this is not a house for, a couple of people. It's more like a generation's living. So
Yeah,
amazingly, you use those words, and the lavender, the use of the wheat. It's also so perfectly balanced poem. Loved it.
thank you very much.
Mine is definitely, as Chris said, yes, excellent. What an atmospheric poem. Yeah, it's.
Thank you, Chris.
So mine is again a link poetry where I link the last word to the first word of the next, trying to say, a story about the farmer who lives there. So here it is with the same title, Tuscan Farmhouse. I see my gusty gold grow in perfect lines and row amidst the soiery of land with Tuscan house to show among the mountains of pearl, with suppling snow in curl in serene aurora form the window in Tuscan farm that toils my every sweat of every winter sweet from the glinty gold I get from swirling golden wheat you smell amidst the air so fresh from everywhere, where you reside in awe delight to Tuscan farmhouse site. Thank you.
Lovely, brilliant.
Well done. And that was lovely.
Yeah, and you've both touched on some very similar elements there as well.
Yeah.
The air and the wind and the snows, and so brilliant. Yeah, and yet quite different in the stories that you're telling as well, which both are brilliant. Both tell a story that another poet could tell a completely different story, of course, as well, which is the wonderful thing that we do get these different aspects coming out, and just from the painting, not from anything that I told you about it. We didn't discuss it as normal, so I think that's amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Love the poems.
Thanks.
So this one,
I think the word Tuscan gave away a lot of things, like where it is, so that was one of the things. Is it from Arizona, if I'm right?
No. It is in Italy.
Okay.
Yes. So it's got those particular roof tiles that they have, sort of Mediterranean countries, where they're quite large, and they run in sort of like a half cylinder running down the roof.
Okay.
Long and big tiles they are, and this sort of lovely warm rich terracotta color, which is just so typical, which I love that area completely. And I did a few paintings in mixed media, because my normal medium's oils, as I'm sure you know already, and which I just love, but I decided just to have a little change and just do something different for a while, because that's you know, it's always good whether you're a poet or an artist, you know, a painter or a sculptor, you know, trying something different for a little while brings you different insights into the work and brings other things back to your normal work. You know, if you tried a different style of poetry, for example, I'm sure you would, you know, you may not want to carry on in that style, but it would inform your normal work. I'm sure that must happen. And so I decided to do some mixed media. So it's on a canvas, and it's used all sorts of different things, such as watercolor, which you can use on a canvas. It's not traditional, but you can use a special ground for it to you know, prime the canvas. It's got acrylic inks, it's got normal acrylic paint, and it's got some oil pastels as well, which give a nice resist to some of the, you know, the water-based mediums, because it, you know, oil and water don't mix, so it just resists the paint on those. And it was, yeah, I really enjoyed it. You know, some of it I put the acrylic ink on, and then even though it's virtually dry, if you spray that with water, it starts to just spread out a little bit, but not in a regular way. And, you know, so you get some little lines and other bits that sort of shaded a bit. So like along the top of the mountains, it's slightly feathery, and that's just where it just spread out into the water droplets from the spray and things like that. So it was really good fun. And these other two behind me, they were done in very similar ways. If Rose is watching, I'm sure she'll recognize the tree there, because she did a wonderful song about that tree, which still makes me choke up almost every time I read it, because it's got a really sad little bit at the end, but it's a beautiful song. Love it to bits. So she might recognize that one. And then this other one of silver birches, which are some of my favorite trees, because they're just so pretty and elegant. So yeah, it was good fun doing those. So
this one, did you start with the mountain first and then went something like that?
Yes, yeah, sort of background first, the sky and the mountains. And the sky is, you know, it's a sort of pinky color, which I think, really, you know, and it's not meant to necessarily be evening, but it just seemed to work with the painting, just to harmonize it with the rest of the painting, rather than it just being a standard sort of blue sky as such. And you know, to me, it was conveying the heat of the afternoon, or, you know, the day there. And so sort of watercolor, the acrylic inks, I think, went down first, if I remember rightly, and then some watercolor, probably a bit more ink, and then going in with some paint and the oil pastel before the watercolor in places as well. Like in the sky, some of the cloud areas were actually white oil pastel, so that it still kept that, even though I painted the watercolor over the top, because it resisted it. So yeah, so it was, you know, it's one of those paintings where you do a bit and think, now I've done that, and I want to change this bit or enhance that bit a bit more. And, you know, they grow organically. So yeah. And Chris has done a comment there. I believe that's about your poem, Ritesh, which it was very good. Thank you. So thank you so much. So yeah, so that's me rattling on about the painting a bit. So what have you guys got coming up, and what's been happening in your poetry world recently? So Martin, you're at the top of my screen.
Yes, I've been contacted by a Scottish publisher that's interested in publishing a collection of my poems. So excellent. I'm going to push that forward. Thanks, Ritesh. It's quite daunting. It's about 60 poems they're looking for, and so I'll need to speak with them and find where I am in terms of the numbers I've got that are suitable for the collection that they're going to produce. But it's nice news.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. And I think you had some others already going into, or if they were in a competition.
Yes, I had. Well, there was a publisher that's already published 3 of my poems, and I've got another at the end of this month. In fact, the end of April, there's a volume coming out that's got poems of mine in that. But they had that publisher, Dreich, they're called, they're Scottish, although there's poets from all over the country get published in his works. But they had a competition which I put a poem in, and I was one of the shortlisted for the prize, which along with the prize winner and I think about 5 or 6 commended poems, and the shortlisted poems are going to go into one sort of volume, and that should be coming out shortly. So that was quite good. That was a Burns poem that I did for Burns, just about Burns Day, and it's obviously was quite well liked by that publisher. So it's quite nice to get it into print.
Yes, so, excellent. Yeah. And Ritesh, how about you? What's been happening for you?
Yeah, well, not a lot like Martin. Congratulations, Martin, for
thank you, Ritesh.
Couple of good news. Obviously getting published and then getting approached by a publisher. So amazing. For me, I'm very excited to go to London Book Fair next week, and we are a couple of groups I'm involved with, and they all will be coming, meeting face to face for probably, after 3 years. So that will be an amazing experience, just to be in the company of, so many literates.
Aye, brilliant.
Yeah, that'd be so refreshing. I think just to, it Zoom's great, but when you can actually meet in person as well, it's just so much better, isn't it?
It's amazing. And I think it lifts up your, especially in these days, it just lifts up your spirit that, you're going to have a face-to-face conversation with so that, I think that's going to be an amazing experience, especially with the, I love the smell of the new books, the new published books. So I'm pretty excited to just go each and every stall.
and sniff the books.
I like them. Yeah.
Book sniffing habit.
That's right.
and I think you've got some project in mind as well, Ritesh, about books
and kindness. So so we are going to call it Bookness, which is mating book. It's like a joke. What do you get when you mate a book? And kindness, Bookness. And it's on the lines of what lawyers do, like a pro bono service. We are planning to do something like a pro bono service into the books, where people can advise, edit, help publish the books, and without charging anything. So that's a kind of and we will get a feeler in this book fair how people are thinking about it, and if we can get into the next step. So that will be amazing.
Yeah, that sounds like such a good idea, because I do believe that if people help each other, the whole world is a much better place. And during lockdown we had a lot of people helping neighbours that they may never have spoken to before.
That's right.
Everybody came together and I'm going to the shops, do you need anything, or is anybody doing your shopping for you, if it was an older person? And it made such a difference, and I just hope that at least some of that carries on, and doesn't just fall by the wayside now that people are out and about a bit more. But it just made everything seem so much better than it could have been if people weren't helping each other. And so I think that is such a brilliant idea.
Thank you. And I think all during COVID, as you said, people have kind of agreed to accept that they are vulnerable. A lot of times people feel like if you go and ask someone, do you need help? Previously people used to get offended, why are you offering help? And now people have kind of, understood that you're not offering help because you have some hidden agenda. You want them to join their church or something like that. It's just, a human nature to help each other.
Yeah, yeah. Sadly, I think it's a bit lacking at times in some people, but certain people in this world that we can all think of at the moment who don't seem to have any kindness in them at all. But
Yeah.
I don't think we should get onto that tonight. Otherwise, we'll never finish the course.
Politics.
No politics. No. But you know, that doesn't mean that we don't care about what's happening.
Absolutely.
We obviously do very much. But yeah, we'll keep this show non-political if we can. So yeah. So because you did something along those lines back in COVID as well, didn't you, Ritesh, during lockdowns?
Yeah, so we started a neighborhood needs group, and it has been going on very well, supporting each other. And then recently there have been some burglaries in the area, and again people have come out and said, well, that's what we're going to do. We have to do something about the neighborhood. So I think, as you said, that the hope that those times where people are helping each other, it is getting carried on further.
Good.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, you know, even if it's just if it changes because needs have changed, you know, as opposed to doing shopping, but as you say, you know, tackling this, you know, spate of burglaries and what can be done about it, and all working together. You know, it's still that community spirit and people helping each other that just, you know, makes life so much better, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I've got some news on the book. Sorry, that's very presumptuous that that's the only book that matters in this world. But to me, it's the book because it's a book of my art and poetry with all my guest poetry in as well, which is going to be fantastic. I know it will. So that's progressing, and definitely hoping that it's going to be certainly available by late summer.
Wow.
So
Brilliant.
it's, you know, it's really starting to be a reality now, as opposed to a wish or a, you know, an ambition. It's coming together. So we're getting there. It's got all the content. It's just, well, apart from we need just a few bios from some poets, and I need to. I was mentioning no names. I didn't look at anybody. I didn't mention names. No. And you know, things like that. But it's, yeah, I'm really excited about that. Just, you know,
have you thought about a title?
Well, I was thinking to maybe keep it the same as the shows, The Poetry of Painting.
Okay.
Because it is poetry
ties in with the show
of the painting, and it ties in with the poems are about the paintings. So that's what I've still got in mind at the moment, unless somebody else suggests something and I think, wow, why didn't I think of that? It's tremendous, you know.
Fiona and the gang.
Fiona's gang. That sounds
Fiona's Army.
You know, it could be a slightly different sort of book people would expect on that one. But, so that's my thinking at the moment, to keep it to that title. But I say I'm open to ideas and suggestions, and yeah, it's really, really exciting, and it's going to be available. Well, I'm saying this like it's actually happening already, but it is going to happen. It'll be available on Amazon as well. So anybody that watches or is watching from overseas won't have to pay the, you know, extortionate amount of postage to have it sent from the UK. It will be available locally. So that will make it so much better for people than, you know, more economical. So yeah, it's really exciting. My second book. So,
tremendous.
I would never have dreamt I would have another book coming out now, but and this is all thanks to you guys that, you know, that have all been on my show and writing such beautiful poetry. You know, without that,
it'll be nice to see. It'll be nice to see our poems along with the painting in, you know, in that sort of format. It'll be lovely to see that, I think.
Yeah. And
looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'd be like a double page spread. So you have the painting on one page and the poems on the other, so you can actually read and see them together at the same time.
That's ideal. Yeah, that's ideal.
Yeah, so it's exciting. And
Absolutely.
so I should have it in time, especially for the art fair at the end of September, which I was really hoping that I would. And that sounds like it's really going to happen now. So that's brilliant, because that was one thing I really wanted. So watch this space, and then we'll have to be working on some sort of book launch as well, which I think Ritesh might have some ideas about that if I'm lucky as well. So
Yeah,
and some
definitely.
hints and tips and advice.
Yeah.
So that'd be exciting.
It would be lovely, I think, to do a book launch and with your audience, in Australia, in America, that kind of thing, and you going on Amazon. That's the amazing thing. So yeah,
and you guys as well. It's not just me, this book, it's all of you guys, so
yeah, well, that'd be tremendous to get involved in that.
Yeah, and it would be lovely if I can somehow get all of you involved in the launch in one way or another as well.
Yeah,
because I say without your contributions, it wouldn't be the book.
Yeah, but a big team effort.
Absolutely, a team effort for the writing of it, and a team effort for the launch as well.
Launching of it, yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, that'd be exciting! My first book launch. So yeah.
Aye, that's tremendous news.
But apart from that, those are my main focus. Well, actually, before that, my current focus, apart from the book at the moment, is that we've got another Blooms art event coming up at the end of April, so 29th and 30th of April. We've done several of these before, and this year we're just going to do one a year. There's going to be 15 artists, and you can come along, visit us all in our own studio rooms. It's on Zoom, so you can do it from home. If it's wet and nasty, you haven't got to go outside, or from the comfort of your own sofa, dining table, wherever, and visit each artist in their room, see their work, ask some questions. And it's not like a gallery where quite often people go to a gallery and they feel like, well, I've got to be serious because it's a gallery.
Right, yeah.
I can't ask that sort of question because they'll think I'm silly or I don't know anything about art. But we're not like that. It's all very informal. It's very friendly. We love having questions about our art, even if people think, oh, this is a silly question, but it's not a silly question.
No,
if you don't know the answer, it's a valid question. It's a good question.
Absolutely.
And we like talking about our art, obviously. And even more than that, it's free as well. So we'll be putting out a lot of updates on social media, how you can get your tickets. Just look at my Instagram and Facebook feeds, and you'll see a lot of them coming out on there to get your free tickets for the show. And so I'm really looking forward to that as well. So Rose is saying, "Oh wow, 3 for the price of 1." She was just having to head out to her folk club, which I know unfortunately is a Wednesday evening as well, so she's going to listen back afterwards. Rosie, if you're still listening at the moment, please do, because another 2 amazing, beautiful poems for you to listen to. So I've got a few exciting things coming up for a change, and looking forward to those, and getting some new paintings done in the meantime as well. So
yeah, I think you are sharing again a new gold leaf painting, I think. So
yes, because I did a series of very small ones, and I put those out on my newsletter first, so anybody that's on my VIP mailing list gets to see them before anybody else. So do sign up to that if you want to, anybody that's watching, and you get to see new artwork before anybody else, on social media or website or anything. So I've been now sort of showing some more of those on social media, and they were just really fun to do. They're quite small. Some of them are already sold, and they're just really fun. But I'm going to do some bigger works as well coming up, so watch out for those ones.
Will do.
So be good fun. So
good stuff.
Well, I think we're almost at our time, unless either of you've got anything that you need to suddenly you've suddenly remembered you want to tell us about before we go?
No, we wanted to have a poem battle,
me.
but Fiona, you stopped us. We wanted to have, like, you know, throw the words at each other, Martin, Ritesh, but Fiona said no, we have to have.
Boys, come on. It's not a competition. No. But thank you so much.
Not at all.
It's not. So
I think it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure to be here. Yeah.
And it was our pleasure listening to your poetry. Absolutely stunning again. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and all the work that you've put into all the shows so far. And hopefully we'll do some more in the future as well.
Definitely.
Please.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Thanks again, Fiona, for inviting me on again. It was a pleasure.
It was lovely having you both on the show. Thank you.
Thanks,
and thanks
Fiona.
everybody for watching. Thank you. And take care, everybody. And Chris says here. So thank you very much, guys. And look forward to seeing everybody again next week, when I will have another guest, a new guest actually, on the show next week. So listen in, same time, same place, 7 p.m. UK time next Wednesday. Look forward to seeing everyone then. Thank you so much for watching and making comments, and have a good week in the meantime. Take care, everybody.
Right,
Bye.
thank you. Bye, Ritesh. Bye, Fiona.
Bye, Martin.